Hey folks, it is I, Garrett. I am finally back. I have all of my gremlins taken care of, all my technical difficulties fixed, and ready to get going. This video that Rob and I are doing, thank you by the way Rob for the intro, has been a long time coming, mostly because of me. I want to thank Rob for, again, being really a great buddy and being patient with me and just understanding that, because, you know, this is his #1 holy grail. He has been chomping at the bits to do this video forever, and I'm just glad that he was able to keep himself under control enough and patient enough to wait on me to get all my problems sorted out. So, anyways, so continuing our look at Primal Prime. I'm going to be looking at the robot mode and the jet mode. Robot mode being my favorite, my personal favorite, I should say, of the 4 modes. When we were picking them, I think Rob's favorite was the gorilla mode and mine being the robot, so that worked out pretty well. As far as this review, I'm not going to go a whole lot into the mold itself because it is the Optimus mold, and that guy has been reviewed so many times. The head sculpt is the same, the body is the same. The only change is to the electronics, which I'll show you that here in just a second, and obviously the color. The shoulders are still the same chrome as on Optimal Optimus, obviously red here. Chrome here on the blue chrome here on the forelegs, or on the forelegs. I haven't done this in a while, can you tell? You know, the wings are white now. Silver paint apps. You know, I mean, obviously a big change. And as far as I'm concerned, honestly, I think that this paint scheme here, the red, white, and blue, the quintessential Prime color scheme, makes this mold. I mean, the mold is great, you know, but Optimal Optimus always seemed kind of weird to me, the colors that they chose for him. And I really just think that this coloring choice for this mold is just a far better choice. You know, Rob did a little bit of the background on this character already. One of the things that we've debated about is the origin of this character, and particularly his body. The Spark is a conglomeration of all these primes, and but his body, where did they get it? Now, we know at the end of Beast Machines, Megatron has taken the Optimal Optimus body. I guess it's possible that if you go from that route, if you wanted to explain it there, that, somehow Primal's, or Optimal Optimus's body is left behind when Primal reverts back to his gorilla. Although I'm not exactly sure how that would work that way. His box does state, however, the packaging, which I have here, does state that the body itself is built from the exosuit that Quick Strike uses during the Beast Wars to control Optimal Optimus. So then you start thinking, well, okay, off camera, they must have gone around and gathered up all remaining Maximal and Predacon technology that was on Earth when they left to return to Cybertron, and that was potentially one of the things that they brought back. And kind of an odd choice for them to use to build this body. I mean, Hasbro wanted to do a recolor, and I think they did a great job with it. I wish that there had been more with the story. I know that there is some. I haven't actually read any of the comic storyline that kind of deals a little bit with Primal Prime. It would be great. I mean, I know that IDW is really on their G1 kick, but I would love for them to do some additional miniseries, one-shots, or an ongoing series to continue Beast Wars. Beast Wars and Beast Machines is still has a fan base. It is still popular, and people still talk. They would love to see that storyline continued, and it would be nice for them to do that so we could get a little bit more explanation on this guy. But anyways, let's get into this figure. Well, like I said, oh, and I'm not going to do any transformation here because this guy is huge, and transforming him on camera on this setup has been very unwieldy and frustrating, and I'm not going to show a lot of the transformation really at all. I'll point out a couple of things, but I'm not going to actually transform him on camera. However, transformation, nothing has changed. One thing you might be noticing right off the bat is I have these shields on the shoulder here and the shields on the forearm here. Did that on purpose. This is my personal opinion, and I do this on my Optimal Optimus as well. You know, the instructions say you're supposed to take these shields off, attach them to the shoulders. It gives them these great big, just majestic, royal-looking. I don't know. You know, pick an adjective there. Shoulders. You know, it looks cool, but the problem is, then you get down to the forearm. You have big beefy shoulder and biceps, and you get to the forearm, get little bitty forearm and gigantic robot hand. Very out of proportion here, I think. I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer, on this and Optimal Optimus, to just go ahead, whether he's Gorilla or Robot mode, and leave the shields on the forearm. You know, you still get a nice shoulder line, you know, without these up here, and you don't get that unproportioned looking forearm. As far as transformation, anything else as far as transformation, I will point out. I will say, you know, on the hands, okay, robot hands, gorilla hands. Get that? Robot hands, gorilla hands. You just flip the flip the thumb down, because the backside of the robot mode is actually the chest for the gorilla. You know, this whole contraption actually rotates 180 degrees. You can see his gorilla chest there, and then you rotate his waist so that his feet are facing the other direction. One other thing I'm going to point out on the robot mode, they did change the electronics on this mold. Originally, the lights would light when you pulled on this piece here, which would launch the missiles. Okay, and if I pull on it, I'm going to go ahead and launch them. Pull on it here, launches the missiles. No lights. You could hold it back and the lights would stay on, but see, no lights. What they did instead, they changed it, so now all you have to do is push this little white button so that you can have the lights on without, I don't know if they're showing up on camera or not, they probably aren't, but so that you can have the lights on without having to actually launch the missiles. Okay, and he does still come with the same accessories. He has 4 missiles, the 2 I just shot, and then there's one on either leg that stows here in this little clip. Doesn't do a very good job of stowing in that clip. They pop off all the time, which is quite annoying. And he does have this little weapon here, his gun here. And of course, you know, he will hold, I forget what they're called, the little, they were the little animals that turned into weapons from the Beast Machines line. He can hold those as a weapon. I don't remember what they're called. I don't own any of them because I didn't like them. I wish now maybe I had picked up a couple so I could actually have him holding them, but you know. Anyways, but yeah, I think you know, robot mode is awesome. I love this mode. My favorite. I'm going to put him in the second mode I'm going to do, which is the jet mode, which, well, I'll just get into it here in a minute. See ya in a second.